The South Carolina Gamecocks are entering year 3 under Shane Beamer. There's a lot of excitement around the South Carolina program. People are excited about what Beamer's doing on the trail, and those wins over Tennessee and Clemson were exciting last year at the end of the season, blowing out Tennessee 63-28, and then a 1-point victory over Clemson. But things came to a quick halt on the momentum with a loss to Notre Dame. And people forget before that win over Tennessee, Florida absolutely drubbed South Carolina 38-6. So South Carolina will be looking for more consistency in 2023. Here on Southeastern 14, we break down 3 critical moments for the South Carolina 2023 season and the future of the program under Shane Beamer. Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer. Welcome to Southeastern 14. We cover all things SEC here. Chris Lee, Blake Lovell do a great job with basketball and baseball, and that baseball is still going on as we record this. They're going to help me out with football. They're producing football stuff, schedule previews, all that kind of stuff. But we're diving into 3 critical moments for the South Carolina Gamecocks in the 2023 season. We're going to start right off the bat with the opener on a neutral field against North Carolina. This is a big game for many, many reasons, but just for momentum purposes. The second game is against Furman, you'll just be kind of, okay, tune up for the Georgia game, which I'll go ahead and tell you right off the bat, the Georgia game is not going to be one of those 3 critical moments, because in no realistic world are you expecting South Carolina to go in and beat Georgia, the 2-time defending national champions, with the odds-on favorite in Vegas to win the national championship again, and not by a small margin. Georgia's plus 220 and Alabama's like plus 600. It's a big gap right now between the number 1 team in the country and the number 2 team in the country in terms of the odds makers' eyes. South Carolina needs to get some momentum going early on, beating Drake May and North Carolina. This is a crucial game for Shane Beamer and company here. And because if they do, with that Furman game and the Mississippi State game sandwiching the Georgia game, it's a good chance that you can go into Neyland Stadium on September 30th at 3-1, in my opinion. Now, with North Carolina, I feel like this is a tale of 2 programs right now that are trying to find a foothold. Mac Brown and Shane Beamer have both done an excellent job of revitalizing the fan bases around there, getting excitement going. But both those fan bases are looking for, okay, what can we sink our teeth into? South Carolina appeared to really get that momentum going at the end of the year last year with wins over Tennessee and Clemson. But as I mentioned in the open, before that Tennessee game, South Carolina got blown out by Florida, a bad Florida team, 38-6. And then they followed the Clemson win with a loss to Notre Dame in the bowl game. A Notre Dame team that was led by Tyler Buckner in that game, who will be at Alabama this year. So small world with all the transfer stuff. But that critical moment number 1 is just Bank of America Field, September 2nd, against a rival there in North Carolina, 1 state over, in Charlotte. Neutral game. Can Shane Beamer and company take care of business? Oh, they're right now. Vegas has North Carolina as a 1.5-point favorite. I would go with the Gamecocks on that one. I do believe that the Gamecocks will be able to take care of business there, probably in a tight one, but that is a critical moment for me. Then on the road, Tennessee, they're going to have you coming into their house foaming at the mouth, okay, after you just absolutely embarrassed Tennessee a year ago. South Carolina, after you ended their playoff run, after everything that happened, Hendon Hooker tears his ACL, but it was just insult to injury. South Carolina just kept scoring and really, really just totally derailed everything Vol Nation had been excited about to that point in the year. Now they're going to try to do the same thing. Like I said, I don't think that South Carolina can play with Georgia this year. But this South Carolina game, this South Carolina-Tennessee game should be a competitive game. Tennessee's not going to be as good as they were a year ago. They lost way too much offensive production. They lost Hendon Hooker. They lost their left tackle. Defense is not – it's still unproven up there under Josh Heupel. South Carolina should be able to go up and compete in this game, but we're going to see the maturity of not only Shane Beamer, but of this team under Shane Beamer in that kind of raucous environment after probably going on the road 2 weeks prior and losing to a Georgia team. Can they recoup, and can they come back and have the mental toughness and to block out the noise, because it is going to be on fire in there. I'm going to say the actual critical moment is that first quarter and a half there, the first 5 possessions or so. Can South Carolina keep Tennessee from getting that thing jumping in there, getting that momentum going? And then I think right then and there, they'll be able to play with them, and they could be, view upset, because South Carolina will be viewed as an underdog by Vegas in that game. I'm just talking from a point spread purpose. Going into that game, Tennessee will likely be the favorite at home. If you could upset them in terms of what Vegas thinks, go 4-1 into a off week, that would be absolutely huge. I think the third critical moment here is going to be Kentucky at home, November 18th, because everybody in the world is going to have that Clemson, South Carolina game circled after what happened last year. It's going to be at Williams-Brice Stadium. Clemson is going to want to get revenge. I think they're going to have a really good year this year coming into that. They're going to be a lot better than they were last year. So now you're talking about a Kentucky team who I think has a chance to be the second best team in the SEC East this year, is going to be coming in. No joke, but you've got to say, okay, I know we have our rival the last week of the season, but we got a home game here, an SEC opponent. You got to make sure that you are locked in, ready to go, because South Carolina should be flying high at that point, coming off victories over Jacksonville State, over Vanderbilt. That's probably what should happen November 4th and November 11th. November 18th, like I said, not that you're going to overlook a Kentucky team, because I don't think anybody should overlook Kentucky this year, but just there is that natural excitement that is built between that South Carolina and Clemson rivalry now, especially with South Carolina getting back in the mix of things. And Kentucky, listen, at that point in the year, people aren't used to Kentucky being an exciting opponent, right? They're gearing up towards basketball season, all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, the Kentucky Wildcats are going to be a team to contend with. And I think South Carolina and Kentucky both really, at that point in the year, if things go as both of those fan bases believe that they could go, then that could be a game where you're trying to, play to see, okay, who ends up being that second team in the East, because that doesn't matter as much this year. Still being divisions and things of that nature, still being a 4-team playoff. But fast forward to 2024 and 12 teams get in the playoffs and things like that, and maybe you've only got 2 losses or so late in the year that year, you could be playing for a at-large berth in a playoff in a 2024 setting. So as this program is building, it's only year 3 under Shane Beamer. They're getting excitement. They're getting momentum on the recruiting trail. They finished 28th in recruiting, his first recruiting class under Shane Beamer, then 17th a year ago. Now they're currently sitting at 15th in this recruiting class. So got to continue to build that momentum, and that type of win, just showing that you could take care of business against a SEC East team at home late in the season, one that is going to be extremely physical under Mark Stoops. So the first test is just, okay, Are you ready to get the season started against North Carolina? Are you ready to come out and get things going early, get your season off to a right start? The second test was a emotional and a maturity check there against going on the road, a Tennessee team. Can you weather the storm early? Where does this program look like year 3 in terms of from a mental toughness makeup under Shane Beamer? Because I think the talent level is about the same. And then when Kentucky comes in November 18th, the week before Clemson, it is going to be as physical of a game as they've played all year. Mark Stoops really, really prides himself on bringing a physical brand of football. And they also have a talented offense this year with Devin Leary, Dane King, Tavion Robinson, Berrien Brown. They got Ray Davis, who transferred over the running back from Vanderbilt. So it is going to be a knockdown, drag out contest. And can you take care of business the week before Clemson? I think those are the 3 critical moments. Yes, we know that Clemson is going to be a big game. Yes, we know Georgia is going to be a big game. Going on the road to Texas A&M, that's going to be a big game. It could have been easy to say, okay, we're going to circle those 3. No, there are key moments like taking on North Carolina early in the season, weathering the storm in the first quarter of the half against Tennessee, and the physicality that is going to come probably in the second half. Is going to have to go blow for blow, go toe for toe with those guys in this 2023 season. Let us know your comments, and we would love for you to subscribe, like these videos, turn on notifications when we go live. We're going to be providing SEC coverage all season long for Southeastern 14. I'm Blayne Gilmer, and we'll catch you guys next time.